Where do you live now?
I've been in California for 22 years.
Really?
I'm about an hour north of LA. I'm in Ventura County.
Okay. So you're like California, but not living in the like.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the hustle and bustle up until I got married. And then once we had our first, we were living in Griffith Park, which was like hipsterville. It was great. But living in a major park, you get a lot of transients, you get a lot of homeless, which is fine. But it got a little scary
for the kids,
and I was busy, so I was traveling like most of that time. So it was just my wife and my oldest at the time. So she got freaked out. So we finally moved to Calabasas, and then from there, where we are now, which we've been in our home now for almost 7 years.
To Calabasas.
Yeah. So now we're in Westlake, Thousand Oaks, suburbia. Oh yeah. I love it.
You love it?
I never thought, because I grew up in the city and...
In the city of?
Well...
Florida, no?
Florida, but like in like the hustle and bustle. And my entire family's from here. My mom is from Hackensack. My grandfather grew up in Spanish Harlem. My grandmother grew up in Brooklyn. And my dad is actually from Cambridge, Massachusetts. So... If anyone doesn't know me and they ask me where I'm from and they assume I'm from New York, I just say yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of Florida anymore.
Okay. I mean, but who is?
Nobody.
It gets such a bad... Do you feel like it deserves the bad rep that it gets?
I think, look, growing up there, obviously I didn't know anything else. You know, it was Disney and like the beach and that was it. But over the past probably 4 to 6 years, I feel like it's kind of come up on its head.
Right.
And you've just kind of seen the worst side.
The worst side.
But growing up, my mom always said, this is where all the good New Yorkers go to die. And I'm like, I have a lot of friends that are from New York that are not going there now. They're all going to Nashville.
Yeah. There are new hotspots, Mom.
Yeah. There is brand new hotspots. Yeah.
If you guys couldn't recognize by the raspy voice that you've known since you were probably 5 or 6 or 8, it's AJ fucking McLean.
Hi.
Isn't that cray-cray? Like, I need to bring it back for myself for a moment. Like, I'm trying to do you're 44.
44.
Looking better than ever.
Trying. Thank you.
I'm 34.
You're a baby.
But when you started, you were...
14.
That's insane.
It is. Because a lot of people don't realize that. So it's already been 30 years for me. Because I was the first picked by Lou Pearlman back in the day in the middle to end of 92. So I helped actually form the band as far as even the audition process.
How did he find you at 14?
So there was a thing in Orlando called the Blue Sheet, which was basically like the classifieds for anyone that was in the entertainment field. So there was, pages of auditions for Disney to be one of the face characters, or back then it was Nickelodeon Studios and Universal. So one of the last pages, on the top of the page, it said, local entrepreneur looking to put together a 5-piece harmony group a la Boyz II Men meets New Kids on the Block. And I had just gotten fired from a job from a Nickelodeon TV show that had got picked up on ABC and lasted 3 episodes and got canned. So
you knew you wanted to be like in the industry.
I mean, well, I've been in this business since I was 3. So
how did that happen?
I started out modeling and then theater. Theater is what really kind of drove me. I started doing theater when I was 6.
Did it come from you, or was your mom like a stage mom?
No, I just love to be in front of people. I just would make up stories. I would, learn monologues and do whatever, but I loved performing. It was either that or I was dying to be a police officer. I wanted to be a cop or a fireman.
Or
actually, my biggest passion was dancing before singing was ever anything. Mm-hmm. So I grew up dancing and doing theater, from like ballet, jazz, tap, all of it. My dream job was to be a backup dancer for either Michael or Janet. That's what I wanted to do. And singing was just there because of doing musical theater.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did I think it would become my daily job.
Right.
But I doing what I do, I get to do all of it.
Right.
Because in a music video, you're acting, sort of. I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm performing, I'm on a stage. It's kind of encompasses everything. So
you were manifesting since 3 years old, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So you see an ad in the paper.
Mm-hmm. So I go with my mom. We go to Lou's house. We had to have a song and a dance routine prepared. So I had both. And he signed me on the spot. And then the rest of the auditions ensued. So the next to get picked was Nick, who was 12 at the time. Howie would have been next to get picked. He had a stage name, which does not, because he's Puerto Rican and Irish.
Yeah.
And his stage name was Italian. It makes no sense.
What was it?
Tony Dinetti. He does not even look like a Tony Dinetti. I'm like, where'd you even come up with that damn name, dude? But because it wasn't his real name, the casting director lost his resume. So he had to re-audition almost a year later. We had 2 other members that did not last for various reasons. And we lost one. We got Kevin, who was working at Disney at the time.
Everyone's working at such a young age.
Yeah, well, Kevin was 21.
Oh, right. Kevin was older.
And then we lost our 5th. And we're trying to find someone, and Kevin's like, well, I've got a cousin in Kentucky who Brian was a junior at the time. And then literally 2 weeks later, we met Brian, did our first show at Grad Night SeaWorld, 1993. And here we are 30 years later almost.
Do you think that would like fly today? Like a entrepreneur meeting with like 13-year-olds signing that?
Well, I mean, today, I don't know. But I mean, if you really look at like, and I'm not going to, I don't want to speak out of context, but just from what I've seen and what I've heard, and again, don't quote me on this, but if you look at like the BTSs of the world, they are put together by like big business.
Right.
It's corporate stuff. It's not
best friends.
It's not best friends. It's, and just like with like the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day, they age out and then they just rotate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be the closest thing I think to the entrepreneurship, some billionaire or somebody putting together a group. I mean, it's been done outside of Lou. And
is he still connected with you guys?
Who, Lou?
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh.
Dead.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because we never, not for all of us, I made my peace with it, but he went to prison for the biggest Ponzi scheme in history. He had his sentence was 25 years in federal prison. For every $1 million he paid back, he got a year off his sentence. And he died of a heart attack right after we filmed our documentary. And one of the things that we wanted to have in the actual doc was as many of us as the prison would allow to go in and sit down with him and just ask the most insane pondering question of just why.
Yeah.
And we were not able to do it. And then he passed away. So I know some of the guys still have a grudge and still have unanswered questions. But, again, if I were to be asked, do I regret anything? No, nothing. This is exactly what was supposed to happen for us to be where we are today.
So when you meet all these guys, they pull them in, you're not friends. I
knew Howie from auditions and Nick from auditions barely. I knew Howie more. Anytime there was any audition for any Latinos, Howie and I would see each other because we're both Puerto Rican. So we would both see each other at all. And yet, ironically, it would be all these Latinos and then they would pick the blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid for the part. And it's like, what?
You have Tony DiNapoli over here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Freaking Howie. Oh.
So do you remember if you had any like first impressions? You're like, who's this kid, Nick, or like Brian from Kentucky?
No, well, Brian still, we actually talk about it in our show right now. Actually, Nick's the one that brings it up, which is when Brian showed up we had a band house that we were renting to rehearse. And like, I was being tutored at the time. And Brian showed up with a cutoff flannel t-shirt, cutoff jean shorts, Reebok pumps, mind you, from back in the day, and a nice high fade And he opened his mouth and he's like, "Hey, y'all, my name's Brian Littrell. Nice to meet you." And we were like, "Oh, shit. Okay. All right." And literally that night, we all sat in our little garage dance studio thing, and we picked out the harmonies to Boyz II Men's version of Yesterday. And I wish anyone could be a fly on the wall for that moment, because that's the moment we knew this is the group. The sound, everything, it just fit.
It just fit.
And here we are.
Wait, so 1993 you started, and when did you blow up?
So if memory serves, we signed with our label then, Jive Records then, which has now become RCA, 96, 97. I mean, for the first few years, we were doing, there was a thing called the ESM tour, which we were just touring around the country in a Winnebago, doing middle schools and high schools, like auditoriums. And we were nobody. We had no label. We had songs that we had cut with local producers in Orlando. And then we would do a cappella stuff and whatever. I mean, we did the grand opening of a pet store. We've done Walmart parking lots. We've done airplanes.
But you were getting paid?
No.
Oh, not getting paid?
No, we were just doing our thing. I mean, we would sing for dinner if we had to. And then there was an offer on the table for Mercury Records back in the day, and that fell through. And the head of A&R at that time left Mercury and went to Jive. Kept telling everyone, "There's this group of guys, I'm telling you." So I believe we were in North Carolina. We did a club show, and unbeknownst to us, there were label reps there. And shortly after, they signed us, and they shipped us off to Stockholm. It's our first time leaving the country, and we met the now infamous Max Martin and the entire Sharon team, Dennis Pop, and that's how we created the Backstreet sound. I mean, it was just...
Did Luke come up with the name?
Yes. So Backstreet Boys, Backstreet came from there was a place called the Backstreet Market, which was off of International Drive, which was like a huge tourist street back in Orlando. And I guess kids would hang out there on the weekends and, probably tailgate or do whatever the hell they were doing. So Backstreet, and then Boys, because we're
boys.
We're all buds. We're friends.
So did you become friends though after, when you were touring on the road?
Yeah, I mean, there's a 10-year gap really between Nick and Kevin.
Right.
So Nick and I being the youngest, Howie's second oldest, Brian's in the middle. But I mean, Brian lived with me. I moved out when I was 17. Moved in with my then girlfriend, 17. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Brian moved in with me, and then Brian, Howie, and Kevin all lived together in low income housing. Kevin's car that he just got left on bricks one day. They freaking stole his rims. We definitely paid our dues.
Yeah.
Hell, Brian had a waterbed. That's how far back we're going. Okay?
I know.
I grew up having a waterbed though.
That was all the rage. Is it weird too, looking back, because I know I was 8, I think, and obsessed with you guys, posters on the wall, looking back, is that weird to think that we, you had 8-year-old, 10-year-old fans?
Well, if you look at our ages then, when we really took off, I was about 18, I'd say.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
It just kind of made sense, and Europe is where we kind of got accepted first. The US at the time, it was Nirvana, it was Snoop, it was Dre, it was, alternative rock. There was no room for a pop band like us. And there was no such thing as a boy band yet. That word did not even exist yet. So we went to Europe because it just took off. Europe accepted us. That's where we first heard the phrase boy band. Yeah. We had never known what that was. We considered ourselves, and still do, to be a vocal harmony group. That's what you say in the States. That's what it is. Doo-wop kind of harmony group. The Temptations, the Shy Lights, the OJs, Boyz II Men. That's what we thought we were. And then we go over there, and there's 30 other groups like us. But only 1 or 2 guys could sing. They all looked pretty. They could dance, but that was it. And then the minute we sang a cappella, everybody was like, oh shit, this is the real deal. And from Europe into Paris, from Paris into Montreal, from Montreal, it bled down into upstate New York. And finally, at that time, Hanson had come out and Spice Girls, they blew up in the States. Now radio was like, okay, we'll give these five dudes a chance. So we re-released a brand new first single. We Got It Going On was the first single, peaked at like 69 on the charts, came back to the States and put out Quit Playing Games. And put the video together with us in the rain, all that stuff. And our pastel colored silk shirts.
I love.
Yeah. And then MTV had to create some way to retire our videos because they was just too popular. Hence TRL was created. So it was essentially created because of us in the sense of having to find a way to retire videos.
What do you mean by retire?
So like, people would call in on like the top 20 countdown and like at a certain point, other people need an opportunity. You know what I mean? So if the same video is always playing, there's a bunch of other artists. It's not just about you. So TRL was then created, which was this huge explosion of us, NSYNC, Christina, Britney, Good Charlotte, Blink-182, you name it.
Yeah.
And that was the hub, And I'll never forget, we did the very last episode of TRL. I think it was in 2000, maybe 4 or something like that, somewhere in there. It was the final episode, and then it was done. But yeah.
Wait, so when NSYNC came about, were you guys like, where are these new kids?
Also from Orlando.
Yeah. That's wild.
That, also signed by Lou. We had the same management team. Jive Records also signed them. So it got a little sticky.
Yeah.
Because it was that whole don't shit where you eat mentality. And we kind of took it personally. Like, okay, this is an exact replica.
Why are you creating? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Lou continued to make more boy bands, none of which really reached the level of us and or NSYNC. NSYNC, their opportunity came from something that we turned down. We were so fried and so burnt from traveling and touring and everything that there was a Disney special that we said, no, thank you. We want to rest. NSYNC got the slot, and that's what blew them up. We work with the same producers, the same everything. Those guys all, knew each other. Howie actually went to school with Chris Kirkpatrick. They went to college together. And I knew Joey just from around the Orlando area. Where I lived was down the street from the high school that he went to. So,
if you would see each other at like VMAs or like award shows, was there like friendliness?
There was friendliness. Back in the day, Chris and I had beef.
Really?
It was over an ex that we both dated. It was the dumbest thing in the world. Now we're actually both really, really good friends. He's a dad now, and I think just over time you kind of squash stupid high school.
And looking back, there was room for both. I mean, both bands were huge,
and they were extremely talented.
Yeah.
And they are the nicest guys. And I'm still friends with all of them. And there was enough room for everyone. And there was you split down the middle. You had NSYNC fans and you had Backstreet fans.
You're right.
Right. And also
there was no one like you at the time, like tattoos.
No, there's still no, if you look at all boy bands, starting back from the Jackson 5, if you want to call that a boy band, which it was, there has been nobody that looks like they should be in Good Charlotte. Nobody. Not NSYNC, not 98 Degrees.
Right.
None of them.
Right. You were like you were like not the stereotypical boy band dude.
Back in the day.
Which is why I'm proud to today. I just posted about this before we even scheduled this interview. We were talking about the Backstreet Boys, and I asked my followers, like, who do you think that I like the best? and I got offended. I mean, Nick is great, but like there were the girls that loved Nick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was like blonde and had that thing.
The baby.
He was a baby. And I felt cool for like you being my fave, you know, because that meant that I was like hardcore, you know?
Even though I'm
it was
the
between
biggest,
you and Brian. I had like both going.
Even though I'm the biggest teddy bear in the world, I'm not at all what
you look like?
No, not at all. I'm a major pushover. I really am. You know, I think for me, it was all cookie cutter back in the day. Like we all had the matching outfits, but it was different colors.
Yeah.
You know, and finally, when I think the first thing I did was dye my hair blonde. And that started this like self-discovery of like, I don't want to be like the rest of you. Then I got my first tattoo in Germany in a hotel room when I was 19. And then that's continued. And
do you think, looking back, do you think you did that because sort of wanting to stand out or be different than?
It was just a form of self-expression,
Yeah.
I think. And then I started painting my nails and it just became what felt comfortable to me.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been comfortable with my feminine side, my masculine side. I mean, I've worn dresses before. I wore a dress at my wedding. Like it's, you know, I don't really care.
Yeah.
What people think.
Yeah.
About what's on the outside. It's more so what's on the inside that matters. And it's like, this is just who I am, you know, and nobody just gets one tattoo either. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Even if they're small,
yeah,
you've got to at least have two.
Right.
So
are you done?
No. I mean, gosh, my last tattoo I got was probably a year and a half ago. But no, I'm not done yet. The next one I'm getting is going to be for my youngest daughter because I've got one for my oldest here over my heart, which hurt like ugh. But I'm still trying to figure out what to get for Lyric. It's got to be something as creative as what I got for Ava. So
what did you get for Ava?
So Ava, she was about 4 months old. Yeah. And it's her actual hand holding my finger and it's a heart locket. So she has a key to my heart.
Aww.
Now, this was when we were only having one. And then we had two, and now I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. But Lyric, it's got to be something music-based.
Because of the name.
That's what inspired the name.
Right.
My wife got to name Ava after Ava Gardner. My wife grew up watching all the old movies and loves old Hollywood, and Lyric was mine. So,
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, that makes sense. How did you meet your wife, Rochelle, right?
Yep. She was a bartender and waitress at a restaurant over off Sunset called Saddle Ranch.
Wait, does it still exist?
Saddle Ranch? Oh, God, yeah.
It looks like funny, that Western.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They have the mechanical bull.
Yeah.
What I think's hilarious, though, is like now it's become a TikToker's haven. So all these millennials think that it's like the new cool spot.
Yeah.
You guys are so behind, like 20 years behind.
Yeah.
You guys are so, no.
I mean, it's so uncool that it's cool again, probably.
It's like now you see like the millennials with, instead of AirPods, they have the old school ones that have the, I'm like.
Everything comes back around.
Yeah. And the 90s will never go away. So you think what you're doing is original, but guess what? I never stopped doing it.
Yeah.
But so she was a bartender waitress. I asked her out. It was a Sunday morning. She claimed that she didn't know who I was.
Wait, really? And this was?
She was an NSYNC fan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Wait, what year was this that she claimed she didn't know who you were?
This was in 2009.
No freaking way.
And so, but what's funny is she took two of her younger friends, drove them to Vegas, I think when she was 18 or 19, to go see our Black and Blue tour. And they were up in the nosebleeds. And I always ask her to this day, I'm like, did you look down and ever think you're going to marry one of those guys? And she's like, no. Because she was obsessed, ironically, with the gay members of boy bands. So she was obsessed with Jonathan from New Kids.
Yeah.
Obsessed with Lance.
With Lance.
And then she married me. So it's like, okay. Yeah, so I asked her out. She said
you just
yes.
thought she was a hot waitress?
She was beautiful and we had a connection. I asked her out and then she asked her manager who I was. And our first date was supposed to be dinner and a movie. And I worked late in the studio the night before. So I was like, why don't you just come over to the house and we'll watch a movie and we'll order in. And she panicked and was like, oh, okay, come over to your house, watch a movie.
Did you have like a fancy house at that point?
It was a nice house, but I wasn't really thinking of anything but really watch. I love movies. I'm obsessed with movies. And so she flaked and then she quit. She was gone for a year. So I was like, oh, well, okay, well, there goes that. And then she came back a year later. I asked her out again. And March 22nd, 2009 was our first date. It was the best, worst first date ever.
Where'd you go?
We went to a place called Camacho's at City Walk at Universal in LA. And there was a mariachi band playing the entire night. So dinner was very loud. And our conversation was screaming. And then back then she was big into horror movies, which is my favorite genre. And we went to see a movie called Last House on the Left. Unbeknownst to me, there was a 7-minute, very graphic rape ensued scene. So I'm sinking in my seat like, oh my God, this is the worst night ever. Dinner was horrible. And now this, and I'm like, God, I'm so sorry. Walked her to her car and gave her a kiss on the cheek. And that was it. And then we've been together ever since. It was just, she was normal.
She was normal.
You know,
you needed that?
Huh?
You needed that like ground.
I didn't think I needed that. And nor did I want that. I wanted, because I was in my crazy phase. I was in my drugs and my parties and all that. So that's what I thought I wanted. And come to find out, she was the calm before the storm. And then she was one that tamed the savage beast. I mean, she put up with me. We've been together for 13 years now.
Yeah. 2009. Yep.
Yeah, 13 years, married for 10, almost 11. It'll be 11 years this year. And it's like, it's nuts.
Did you have any high profile like relationships before her?
No, you
didn't date in the industry.
There was a couple of opportunities that I heard about after the fact that were interested in me. And I'm like, oh man.
Wait, you got to tell me.
One was Jennifer Love Hewitt back during I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh my God.
But I blew it. I didn't know. And then Mandy Moore, but she was significantly younger, and that would have been weird.
When she came out with
she
Candy.
opened up for us Millennium Tour. But no, I mean, there was, oddly enough, never a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I never, I'm sure I could have hit my publicist up and been like, hey, let's go on a date with so-and-so.
Yeah.
But that's just not me.
I
like the balance. And my wife's in the industry. She's a professional special effects makeup artist, hair, beauty, all of that. She's worked on film sets and TV shows and commercials. Her dad's in the industry. Her brother's in the industry. Her sister's in the industry. So she's been around it, but never like in it.
Yeah. And you were saying when you met her and on your first mariachi horror movie date, you were in the crazy part.
I had just started kind of in the not so good phase. Like I did drugs right in front of her, but she didn't think anything of it. She probably thought, oh, this is a casual thing. This isn't going to be a problem.
Yeah.
We all know it became.
But it was right? Because your famous story is that you tried cocaine before the call video.
Yeah, which is what got me into that. But I was already drinking before that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I started really drinking at 25. I didn't even drink on my 21st birthday. Everybody else got sloppy ass drunk and food poisoning on my 21st birthday. I just had no desire.
Really?
Yeah.
Until 25?
25 to 27 was bad.
Yeah.
And then since then I got sober for about almost 7 years, and then on again, off again, up until almost a year ago. So I've been sober now for a little over 10 and a half months.
Amazing.
So, it's not easy, but this 2-year break that we all had really did a number on me in the right way. It gave me a chance to really reflect and really take this as serious as I possibly can, as well as now with the fentanyl crisis. It's a scary world out there where, I know me well enough. if I pick up a drink today, that'll be it today. Tomorrow it'll be 2 or 3. Eventually the drugs are going to come back and I don't know what's out there. I could do one line and be dead.
Yeah.
And I cannot leave my children fatherless, my wife a widow, my bandmates without a bandmate. It's just not worth it.
So you tell you tell stories about the fact that your bandmates didn't know what was going on.
They didn't know at the beginning, but I'm sure like midway through, they're all really smart guys. And even if they did know, they didn't think it was a problem because I still showed up on time. I still did my job. I still performed. I did all these things, and it's like, but it was when it started to affect where I started missing rehearsals. Or vocally I sounded like crap. Or then I started drinking on stage. Fans didn't know because I was drinking out of a red Solo cup, just a straight shot of Jack. So yeah, I mean, that's when it got bad.
Yeah.
You know, like we say in the rooms of AA, it worked until it didn't.
Is it hard to be in this industry and be sober?
Yes and no. You know, I know a lot of guys that have been sober 30 years that are in this business. It's just, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
How bad do you want it? You can literally have everything and more and enjoy the fruits of your labor and remember it and savor it by staying sober. I have flashes to this day of things that I didn't remember. That I'm like, oh, that's right, I did do that, or oh, I've been there. But what really kind of kicked it off for me was Dancing with the Stars 2 years ago. Getting in good shape for that, getting mentally prepared because I had no idea what to expect. Nick tried to prepare me, and I was not prepared. But it was a life lesson, that show, and then it really kind of was the catapult for me to really start looking at myself. And, you know, I had some ups and downs during this 2 years, but then finally I just woke up and I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. I don't want to go on the road again and be out there for a week. My alcoholic brain would already tell me before I left home where and when I'm going to drink.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 2 days after I leave, if it's a week into it, if I'm going to be in a certain city that I know that I love, but that thought never crossed my mind this time. And I have a healthy fear every day. If I don't have a healthy fear, then my ego comes up and then I tell myself, I got this. You don't got this. I don't have it.
Yeah.
If I don't have that little bit of fear of, oh my God, this could be the end, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
so
screwed.
You don't get too confident. You're like,
No.
okay.
No.
Okay, good. Well, you just posted like, I'm 44. I'm sober. I'm feeling great. You're in amazing shape.
Getting there.
Getting there.
I'm getting there. I still got a ways to go, but I'm getting there.
Okay, so speaking of getting there, we were talking before, you were like, I've been doing this shit since the 90s, like what the TikTokers are doing today. So speaking of like TikTok and the whole world of social media, do you feel the pressure of like keeping up, making little videos? Like,
I mean, I wasn't on TikTok until last summer, and it's blown up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm not one of those that like post every day.
Is it you? Do you have help?
It's me. No, I do. My Instagram, I've got an amazing social media team, but when it comes to TikTok, I like to create the content myself, and I like to, think out what I'm going to do. I don't just do it because, oh, it's trending. Like I'll do something just off the cuff, random. I think probably my most viewed and liked is, again, just random. We were at Lance's house rehearsing for this, for the show that we did for LA Pride. And we were trying to move furniture, and we were moving a couch. And I asked the guys, can we recreate the famous pivot scene from the best TV show ever created?
Yeah.
And
oh my God, that's my favorite scene.
So we did it, and it literally just blew up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean,
have you seen the bloopers of that scene?
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had never seen that show in my entire life. until about now I'd say 9 years ago.
Oh my God.
And now you could ask me anything about any episode and I will tell you. I will
Well, you binged it? Did you binge it?
Oh, I've seen it at least 1,000 times.
Oh my God. Love that.
We would go to bed watching it when it was on Netflix. I brought the box set with me on the road.
Stop.
Oh yeah, back when the Blu-ray box set came out, my wife got it for me for Christmas, and I brought it with me on the road.
That is the sweetest thing.
Oh, yeah,
Horror movies and Friends. That's the way to your heart.
Now my new one is New Girl. Even though we were like about a year late on that one, but it's
a cute show.
It's Schmidt and Nick are like it's like the best duo. Freaking
Nick is so
Miller.
lovable.
Come on, Nick Miller.
He's so good.
I mean, what an amazing cast.
Yeah.
And I've known Zoe for a while, and she's just the sweetest, most amazingly talented woman, period. My wife and I actually, for Christmas last year, went and saw she and him do their Christmas show. And that's her little duet band.
Oh,
that she has. It was so awesome. It was so awesome.
She's so folky and cute.
She is. She really is.
So you're good with social media?
Yeah.
You don't feel like the pressure to keep up posts?
No, I guess and maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know. But what I do find fascinating is that these TikTokers make a living.
The Schitt's Creek moment.
Massive fan of Schitt's Creek.
AJ.
Ew, AJ. Ew. Massive fan of freaking Schitt's Creek.
So good.
And so we were in Toronto and I hit up my publicist and I was like, crap, show's tomorrow. I know it's probably last minute, but I really want to invite Annie and Dan. I thought Dan still lived in Canada, but he's in LA. And then within like 3 hours, get a response back, an email from Annie saying, I already have tickets to the second show. And the fact that he's inviting me, like, I will be there, her exact words, I'll be there topless with bells on. And so her and her little squad came and we sat on my bus and talked. And, yes, I know a lot of celebrities, fine. But I don't know a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
I don't walk up to other celebs on the red carpet. I don't walk up to celebs at parties. It's just not me. They could be the nicest person in the world, but that's their space. That's their time. I'm inviting. You can come talk to me whenever you want. And my wife gets on me about it all the time. She's like, do you not know who you are? And I'm like, I do, but I don't look at myself that way.
Why she wants you to like
just, like if you're on the red carpet and Jack Nicholson's there, say something. I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I just, that's not me.
Yeah.
And so like to know that someone like Annie looks at me the way I look at her.
Yeah.
It was just sweet.
Yeah.
And, and it was just funny because when I asked her, I was like, can you do me a favor? Can you please do the ill?
Oh, you asked her?
I asked her and then she goes, only if you do this. And I was like, done. Whatever you want, I will do it.
That.
I don't care. And oh my gosh.
That was a moment. That was so good. Yeah. I love how moments like that happen.
Kevin is really mad because he's a massive fan of the show as well. And I kind of hogged her on my bus and he never got to meet her. So I'm sorry, bro.
Sorry, Kevin.
You know what, Kev? Listen, you became friends with Drake. I became friends with Annie Murphy.
I want to hear the Drake story because that also blew up.
Well, that was Kevin. That was Kevin because his family and him went out. They asked the hotel, what's the best Italian restaurant in all of Toronto? And I don't know what it's called, but they went there and I guess apparently it's like Drake's like favorite place in the entire city. He was there. Apparently from what Kevin said, he approached Kevin.
Apparently we're not sure we believe Kevin.
Well, yeah, basically saying how much of a fan he is. And he shared the story with Kevin that at his 16th birthday bar mitzvah, he was madly in love with this girl that wouldn't give him the time of day. And I Want It That Way came on at the party and he asked her to dance and she actually danced with him. And so it was a moment for him. And since then, she's not giving him the time of day. I'm sure now she probably wants to. But so he shared this whole story. They exchanged numbers and he asked if he could perform with us. So Kevin's like, of course. Then that turned into, okay, I just want to introduce the song. And then once he did introduce the song, we kept him on stage. And it turned into what it turned into.
Did he sing the whole song with you?
He sang everyone's verse except mine.
Why?
And he literally, because I kind of asked him on stage, I'm like, dude, what the heck? And he's like, can't touch gold. I was like, okay.
Damn.
All right. I was like, thanks, buddy. But he was by far the most sweetest, humbled, just genuinely good human I think I've met. I mean, look.
So maybe your wife's
Canadian,
right. You need to.
Canadian, we know.
We know.
It goes without saying.
Yeah.
Canadians are the sweetest people in the world.
Yeah.
But he just, with all his success, I know he's been very philanthropic. He gives back. He's just a good human being. And he was geeking out up there with us, and it was so much fun.
Oh, that's so cool. But do you know how many, I'm going to be on your wife's side here. Like, hello, do you know who you are? Like, do you know how many kids in the industry or in Drake's age group, like all of us grew up on the freaking Backstreet Boys?
It's interesting because when myself, Nick Lachey, and Lance, we presented an award at the MTV Awards 2 years ago. And when we walked the red carpet here in the city, like, I didn't know anybody walking the red carpet except Ed Sheeran and Lil Nas. I didn't know anybody else, all the young, new, artists, but everybody knew who we were.
Yeah.
And like, looked at us like, I don't know, like
the OGs.
Yeah. And it was a really surreal moment.
Yeah.
And it was sweet, but it was surreal.
Okay. Everybody.
I could be your dad.
Well, technically. Yeah. I mean, you are aging yourself, AJ. Enough with that. Okay, you guys, look at my nails. I don't know. You can't see. I have no nail polish on. And we have AJ over here with the full, like the stars.
Yes.
The
stars
lightning.
have aligned.
Did you do that yourself?
No, good Lord, no. But this base color is one of Ava Dean. This is one of my and my partner Josh's colors.
So I want to talk to you about that, about your, we call it a nail polish brand.
It's a beauty brand. I mean, obviously nail polish is at the epicenter. That's what's starting this, but we do want to move into a full cosmetic and beauty brand with face creams and lotions and lipsticks and eyeliners and shadows and concealer and the whole gambit.
So actually, the way I think this podcast even happened was because I was going through like a deep dive of all the nail polish brands that celeb men have kind of came out with this past year. And every time I'd be like, oh, MGK is coming out with one. Oh, Little Yachty's coming out with one. And then I'd be like, you guys, AJ literally has had one. And he's like the OG of this. And also you've been actually wearing nail polish since BSB days.
Yeah, I mean, for 25 plus years. I mean,
And now, like we've been talking about everything kind of coming back around. Now it's like Pete Davidson. I mean, I feel like so many men are manicured now.
They are. I think it's become, acceptable. Like I even say in our show, I give a shout out to all the ladies in the audience, and I give a shout out to all the dudes in the audience, because now that we're older, for dudes, they can finally admit, I've always liked you guys. I couldn't say it back in middle school. I probably got beaten up, but I've always liked you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's what's now considered acceptable. I mean, but you see a lot more guys really just taking care of themselves, period. More skincare, nails, manicure, pedicure, facials.
Are you good about that? Like skincare and shit?
I mean, it's one of the perks of having a wife that's in the cosmetic world, because she gives you all the inside track of what's the best products and what is good for my type of skin.
But you do like lasers and treatment?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that. Like, people don't understand. Like, I'm terrified of needles.
Yeah.
I know you would be like, why don't, but so Botox and all that shit, never. It doesn't make sense to me to intentionally stick a needle in my head.
Yeah. Just
so that my expression doesn't change.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine never having done that.
No, you have great skin, AJ.
Latino, oily skin. Hopefully I look like this when I'm 70.
Yeah.
I hope. Also being sober helps because I could look much older right now.
Yeah.
If I was still out there doing my
Do
thing.
you still smoke cigs?
Sadly, yes, not as much. But that's my last vice.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you feel like that? You're like, I just need to
I
hold
do
on to
but
one.
I mean,
I'm a fan of celebs that smoke. It's like my
what I
vice.
tell myself though is like once I get to the physical place that I want to be with my body, and I get to the mental place I want to be with my mind, and I can quit coffee, then the cigarettes will be gone. Because
Okay, that's
those
a
two
huge
go.
goal, though.
It is, but it's a realistic goal. But I will not stop until I'm 1,000% ready.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to quit and then 2 months later pick up again.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's just as bad as picking up a drink. So I'd rather be 100,000,000% ready to be done and then do it. So.
And you're going to be a matcha drinking.
Yeah, no, I just water. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I drink more water now than I ever have in my life. The only soda I'll do is Diet Coke because it's the least amount of sugar.
Yeah.
But like grain-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, it sucks. But you get used to it.
Yeah.
You get used to it. I mean, and every so often I'll
Whatever you're doing is
splurge.
working. So maybe we
it.
should smoke cigs. So Ava Dean is the brand, and obviously you have amazing nails and you take care of them. And again, I will shout from the rooftops that you've been doing it. You've been doing it. So all the dudes that are doing it now. And is there any though, like little feelings of like, I was OG, but whatever.
No, I mean, look, I think it's cool, you know, that a lot more guys are using their platform to kind of, you know, show that it's okay, and it's because it is unisex. It really is. It's not only for women or only for men. Same applies to makeup. I'm wearing makeup right now. I wear makeup every day.
You are?
Every day I wear makeup.
Always?
Always. I have no shame in that. I mean, I just
Can't even tell.
no
What, like foundation?
foundation. Yeah, yeah. My wife's taught me, you know, the best way to make it look nice and natural and even. I used to do just for men, but I can't anymore because my wife is violently allergic to hair dye. And
What's just for men?
like to, you know, get the grays out of your beard.
Oh.
So, little fun fact for all you guys out there: waterproof mascara. That is the best waterproof mascara.
You need to do a little Vogue getting ready with me in the morning video.
I'm telling you, there's
I love
a lot of tricks to the trade that you can literally do yourself, and nobody would be the wiser.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so new song just came out last week. It's going to be last one. So new song came out last week.
Yes.
Called Smoke. Love it.
Thank you.
What a bop.
Thank you.
What a fun song. It gives like Prince vibes. It gives, I was thinking Blurred Lines with the video too. The video was raunchy.
Yeah, the video. Well, you know, like so this is the 5th video that I have co-directed with my partner Renee Elizondo. The last video we directed together was actually Backstreet Boys' Chances video, which was our last single off of our DNA record. The inspiration was the old Robert Palmer video for Addicted to Love. Like I was young enough that like these women were like not even scantily dressed, but they weren't wearing bras. They could see through their black dresses, and I was all like getting excited in the pants. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. And then the George Michael Freedom video with all the supermodels and then Blurred Lines, but Blurred Lines did not leave anything to the imagination.
Right.
Like that was, here's Tatas, they're out, here they are. Emily Ratajkowski, who is stunningly gorgeous. Here's my boobs.
Here are them.
So I wanted to kind of merge all 3 of those together, but do it in a very classy way. And yes, it's sexy, it's edgy, but you never see anything.
Yeah.
And we purposely did it that way to where we get you there and then it's over.
Yeah.
And leave it up to the imagination. And
did you co-wrote the song?
Yep. Co-wrote the song with a bunch of amazingly talented writers. And it was one of the last songs in the first round of writing that we did back in January. And it just once it was done, you just know. Like we just sat around and we just kept playing it, and we're like, this is a hit, man. This feels right.
No, it
feels right.
Definitely like it's one of those songs you want to keep on listening to. What happened though? Because you posted earlier, was it like a week ago, that the music video was like almost ready, but then you were like, I'm not putting it out because like there's something we need to change.
We had to re-edit the video and we had to re-edit the song. The length was not right. So because basically now what I've learned is back in my day, 3 minutes and 30 seconds was a typical radio edit. It's not the case anymore.
Was it today?
It's like you're lucky if it's 2:30.
Really?
And what blew my mind is my manager told me Wannabe Spice Girls was 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And what's so great about that is it's over so quickly, you can't wait to play it again. It's a mind fuck, if you will.
Gotcha.
So Smoke is 2 minutes, barely, or a little bit over 2 minutes. So the video, we had to make it longer. So we did a remix. We added some more footage because we had so much footage. And my producer and I did like a little breakdown and we made the video just shy of 3 minutes. But the song itself, the radio edit, is actually like under 2.5 minutes. So hopefully it makes you want to listen to it over and over and over again.
Is it is the excitement different when it's like a solo thing versus like a BSB thing?
It is, and especially now because my first solo record came out in 2009 and it was only released in like the Pacific Rim and parts of Europe. And it was, if you go back and listen to it, it sounds like a Backstreet Boy album. It just does, but just with one guy. I mean, because I didn't know who I was yet. I didn't have a sound that I was identifying with. And then I stuck my feet in the world of country for a hot second and it was great. And then COVID hit. And I knew that once things were lifted, I would have to start all over again because you really have to embed yourself in Nashville if you want to be a successful country artist, especially coming from the pop world. It doesn't matter if you're Beyonce, they don't care.
Yeah.
You still have to prove yourself. And so during the 2 years, I was just like, can I do it? Yes. Is it what I'm passionate about? No. Funk and R&B and soul is what's always been in me. And I can't even tell you how great this album is. Yeah.
Wait,
I'm
so is
excited.
a full album going to come out?
Full album will be out. We're looking at hopefully top of the year next year. We were thinking fall of this year, but I don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
But there will be another single out this year for sure. And
Amazing.
then album next year. And yeah, I'm stoked, man. Like really, really excited.
You're in the freaking prime of your life, Alexander.
Doing my damnedest.
Okay. So you were saying that what are you watching right now? You finished New Girl.
Finished New Girl. My wife and our Modern Family. I know we're way behind them, but we're watching Modern Family.
I love that.
It's so good. And then for me personally, Stranger Things, and we just finished myself, Josh, and our other buddy Justin, who is on my bus as well. He does our meet and greets and all of our photos. A TV show called The Boys, which is phenomenal.
It's weird.
It's
with Chase Crawford, right?
Yep, who's a really good friend of mine. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different character from Gossip Girl.
Right? He like has sex with like a lizard, like something weird
with sea creatures, with like octopus and yeah. Oh yeah. Well, his character is the Deep, and he is like the Aquaman of this show, and he talks to sea life, but he also has sex with sea life. And
I need to see what the show is.
It's really if you don't like violence, don't watch it because you'll see stuff you never thought they could show on television.
Do you watch any reality TV?
Big Brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I am not watching this season yet.
Go on.
I trust me, I've been asked multiple times.
Yeah.
But
so
no, I'm away from my family enough.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan. I've missed the last couple of seasons just because of tour. I've become really good friends with one of the castmates, Paul Abraham, who was on season 17. I want to say, yeah. Him and I have become the best of friends. But it's such a fun show to watch. Like I never thought my brother-in-law, who's like football and like obsessed with me. Like,
Stop.
oh yeah. And like we'll even watch the like After Dark. And like
Dying.
we get the alerts
I'm
on
dying.
the CBS app, but now
No.
Paramount Plus. Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, you guys.
Yeah.
I love this information. So celebrity crush, man or woman?
Oh man. Ryan Reynolds is my celebrity crush. Oh
Stop.
fuck yeah. That is my so
Wait, we need to make this happen.
when he got on TikTok, like his second video, he posted something. I think it was All for One. And then he did another one with him and Will Ferrell because they were doing a movie together.
Mhm.
And I duetted both of them. The first one, I was with you in the car, right? In Vegas. And he runs in to get like soda and like something else out of this convenience store. And he comes out and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He's like, what? I'm like, look who commented on my page. Second comment, he said, number 5 on my bucket list, duet with AJ from the Backstreet Boys. And I was
I
like,
have chills.
and then I duetted another video with him and he said another thing that was amazing.
Wait,
and I
did
was
you
just
reply?
like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, we had the same trainer because when he was doing Amityville and doing Blade Trinity, I called my publicist and I was like, I want his trainer. And
You're like, he looks hot. I want to.
yeah. So now his trainer's been my trainer for the longest time. We're best of friends. And I've always tried to get to Ryan somehow. I know he lives here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll ask my publicist today if they can just randomly hit up Ryan and invite him to the show. That'd be kind of fun.
I mean, AJ.
I don't know. I mean, look, hey, I literally reached out the day before to get Annie Murphy to come, and it worked out.
Yeah.
But she already had tickets. I highly doubt Ryan has tickets to the show right now.
Well, maybe Blake, maybe his wife
Blake,
does.
I know, is a big fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, now you got me wondering. Now you got me.
Oh my God, you guys can't.
Do you know Ryan?
I don't.
Okay.
But I know that, like, I know his publicist. Oh my God, I have his publicist number.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna text her.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, we're making it happen.
It is happening.
I am obsessed, and I can't believe all the fun things we found out about you today. I love it. AJ, you made a childhood dream come true for me, and we all love you so much.
Thank you.
And everybody, check where the Backstreet Boys are playing near you.
Yes.
Christmas show.
We have a Christmas album coming out this year, our first one ever. Hopefully doing some Christmas radio shows, as well as go stream or download Smoke. It's out now. Thank you so much to everyone for all the love and support for each of us outside of the group. It's overwhelming and I'm beyond grateful, and thank you. And album coming soon. And thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.